Hello and welcome to Kemet Capital, the community of holders and seekers of African capital. I'm your host, JS, and you guys already know before we always start, we begin with our word of affirmation, our guiding principle, the Cobb and Douglas function, guys. Our way to make Africa great again is through economic power, economic might. And in order for us to achieve that, we need to produce more in a more efficient way. So, guys, today we're going to discuss or react to this video that pertains to the total factor of productivity, which is the change in output, not from input. All right, guys, let's jump into the video. And as always, we are going to discuss as we go along.
Venture capital is fueling new growth for the continent as the drive towards inclusive development continues to be a key priority. CNBC Africa is now joined live with Shanad Duplessis, managing partner at Launch Africa Ventures, joining us from Cape Town. Thanks for joining us on this lovely Friday.
Thank you, Abby, and thanks you having me this afternoon.
Well, let's just begin by you giving us the lay of the land in terms of venture capital in Africa. What sort of trends have you been seeing from where you sit, and what should we anticipate going forward?
All right, guys, before we start, you guys, I don't know if you remember 2 weeks ago, we discussed chart deck. That's the delivery service in Nigeria. Is a round of funding. We can explain a little bit what is involved in those venture capital funding. And yeah, let's see what this guy has to say about it.
Yeah, venture capital has actually been one of the fastest growing asset classes in Africa and actually globally, although very still nascent on the African continent. Over the past 15 years, I believe about 20 billion has been invested. But we've really seen the growth of VC since COVID. And at the height of 2022, 2023, about $6.5 billion was invested, both in equity as well as debt in early stage technology companies. In total, there are about 6,000 technology companies raising capital. And with the current economic downturn, as well as the global uncertainty, about 1,000 tech startups have been funded in the past 18 months on the continent. We've also seen a few unicorns, which is $1 billion company valuations across the continent, and there are about 13 of those since the VC has really got traction since 2015.
Amazing.
All right, guys, just to give you a little bit of, just to put you guys in context a little bit, you have to understand that. So first of all, venture capital is form of capital because those guys, they invest early in the company when there's no like prototype, the market is not hasn't been established with certainty, so there's a lot of risks involved, and it's crucial for any economic development because that's where innovation is in those startups, those tech companies, and they need funding, and that funding most likely will come from venture capital. And I'm glad to see that there's been an increase in funding on the continent because if you go back to 2015, only 200 million was funded through venture capital. 200 million compared to 20 billion like in 2024. So that's a huge increase, and it shows the attractivity of the continent, but also the innovation and the skills that we bring into the market to have that capital flown into us. Because guys, you have to remember, capital nowadays is global. It goes globally where opportunities are. And if we are starting to attract capital on a continent on a consistent basis, it's just a win-win situation for us.
Insights there, Janad, and you recently authored a book, and I just want to know what were some of the motivations behind this, and you have been in the financial sector for quite some time, and how does this speak to the playbook when it comes to how Africa can circumvent the challenges that venture capital has had in the past? What are some of the key highlights in your new book?
Yeah, so I spend most of my time working, but when I'm not working, I love storytelling, and I am either a filmmaker or I write. And so I decided to write a novel. The novel is a fiction novel, and it's based on how two intelligence operatives fight illicit capital flows. And it's something that I'm very passionate about generally, working with early stage founders and entrepreneurs, is how do we
Hmm.
create a generation of entrepreneurs that will be able to govern and manage sustainable businesses in future. But Africa is under financial siege. We see that more than $90 billion are lost to illicit capital flows. That's 4% of the African GDP. And within venture capital, around 2 billion has been lost since 2019. And if you think of that, since 2019, only about 15 billion was invested. 2 billion is a significant amount. So I'm very passionate about that. And I wrote this book to provide an adventurous but insightful literature to everybody about how capital flows in illicit manners across the continent.
All
And the
right.
significant point about the book is also it's not government focused, because 97% of illicit flows is through the private sector. We always think that corruption only happens at the government level, but it actually happens in many other aspects of our business society. And
And guys, that will cause inefficiencies and it will reduce our attractivity in general when you have people are taking advantage of funding to, for illicit use of those funds. It has to stop, guys. To if we want to be like this new, center for capital, attraction, we have to have some sort of regulatory system, some sort of, control system in place to make sure that the funds are actually used towards what they're towards their intended use, basically. So that's not, and I'm not here to say that it only happens on the continent. It happens all over the world. Where there's humans, there's greed, and greed happens no matter the nationality, the continent, or the race. So I don't want to say that it's a problem specific to the continent, but us as a nascent, market for capital flows, we need to make sure that we are tipped off in terms of security of the capital and the management of the risk involved.
so my book is a fiction novel set in 9 different cities across the African continent, but it tells a
Interesting.
very true story of reality of how capital flows in Africa.
All right. And Janad, as we wrap it up, I just want to know, are you seeing more of an innovative mindset in the Africans generations that are coming up after us? And how can this turn the corner when we look at the big picture?
Yeah, for sure. We've seen that over the past 2, 3 decades, the mobile phone has really revolutionized and leapfrogged technology in Africa. And now, currently, it is the AI moment, and we are seeing young Africans adopt and
Hmm.
upskill themselves in the artificial intelligence sector. What we have to do is build the infrastructure for them so that they can build those AI businesses that will be one day be those billion-dollar businesses. But we need the infrastructure, we need the data centers, we need
Hmm.
government regulation that creates the enabling environment for young Africans to thrive. Artificial intelligence will be will be our next mobile phone moment, and we have to be ready for the environment to prosper so
Mm-hmm.
that all Africans can improve the quality of our lives through technology.
All right, guys. Interesting conversation, a short one at that. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that we need more venture capital into our economy to fuel the innovation of any sectors, not only the technological sectors, because in Africa that sector takes over 50% of the funding. We need to fund more ventures, more industries, industrialization. It doesn't have to be only tech or fintech. We need to have more plants. We need to, develop innovative system to conserve perishable goods, to improve, the skills of our workforce. So those venture capitals, I hope, or that we can organize ourselves to even, launch our own, so that it's targeted to our, to our needs instead of, needs of other people, other country, other funds. For example, you have multiple funds that have, was able to subscribe large amount of capital. You have, for example, the Partech Africa Tool Funds, which was able to raise 280 million in 2024, 280 million euros at that in 2004. You have North Scan 22, raised 2005 million in 2003, all dedicated for the African continent. So you have those two funds, almost 500 million euros dedicated to finance projects in Africa in a venture capital form. So we need to have more of those, not only, foreign capital, we need to have our own. And that's always what I will advocate in this community, because we are holders and seekers of African capital. So we need to be owners also of African capital. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment. I'll see you in the next one. Be safe out there. Bye bye.